Welcome, happy campers! Thanks for joining me. I'm Leslie Juvin-Acker, and on this episode of The State of Happiness, I want to talk about Thanksgiving and what we're thankful for. There's a lot to be not thankful for, and I will address that later on in this episode, but I want to just reflect to you a little bit about my own year and what I've insanely managed to do in this past year. I was having a conversation with a woman at dinner the other night, and she's a mom of two little kids. I think she has a 9-month-old and maybe a little under 2 years old. And I told her what I was doing in this past year, and she's like, how do you make time for all of this? And I just looked at her and said, I'm crazy. And it really isn't about being crazy. It's just that when you have something inside of you that you really want to do and you feel like this urgency every day, you just dedicate yourself to doing it. And I know that sounds really simple and cliche, but getting the money formula out and the happiness decks out and all of these episodes of The State of Happiness and traveling around the country and all over North County, San Diego to talk to women about what it's like to be a mother, to be a wife, to be a business owner, and to find your way in this world and to share your story. And it has not always been easy, and I have to admit, a lot of what I've suffered through has largely been self-inflicted. I've had a lot of anxiety, my own disappointments, my own worries and stress, and I take responsibility for how I feel, and it hasn't always been pretty. But I can say that using the tools that I teach all of you, I've been able to work my way out. Now, I haven't always been able to do it alone. I've had a lot of help along the way, and that's why I want to share with you why I'm so thankful. To thank all of you happy campers is the first place that I want to start, because we are a community of over, I want to say 45,000 people who care about creating happiness, beating stress and anxiety, and just getting through the overwhelm of day-to-day life. And it's not easy to have a family, to do a job, and to take care of yourself. And I thank all of you for joining us at the State of Happiness podcast, the happiness blog at leslieinc.org, Instagram, and our official Leslie Inc. on Facebook, and for all of you happy campers who like and share our posts. You are the reason why I do everything that I do, and more so in 2008 and 2018 than any other year that I have been in business. And I think it's important to tell you why. I know that most people can't afford my day rates. They can't even afford my hourly rates, and I get that. And when I was telling this to Josh, our VP of Digital, he said, why don't you create an app? Why don't you create online courses? Why don't you create books? And I was like, good idea. And I challenged him to help me do that. And Josh and I have worked as a team to create this podcast, the Happiness Decks app, the online course for the Money Formula Academy, the Money Formula book. He even helped design the cover of it. And we have worked together as a team to really help create something that's accessible for you. And that's why it's so important to me that you have free resources, low-cost resources, medium-range resources, so that way you can break through your own feelings of stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and get back to what makes you feel happy. So providing you resources is essential for me here at Leslie Inc. And I hope that you enjoy them. I hope you get benefit from them. I know I get a lot of feedback from you, whether it's through email or on our Facebook group, the Money Formula Readers group, and even in the DMs on Instagram. I just want to say thank you for using all of these tools and making your life and world a better place, because that's all that matters to us here at Leslie Inc. And I want to say thanks so much for those people who have bought the Money Formula book. We hit #1 in Knowledge Capital on Amazon for new releases, and we also hit up to 15 in money management books on Amazon too. And it's thanks to you that we were able to do that. That was something I didn't even know happened until Anna told me about it. And it was a shock, I have to say. And I'm so glad that all of you are buying it and really making it a part of your life. I want to say a special thanks to WS Radio for helping us get the Money Formula audiobook out, which will be coming out soon. I am so grateful for Alan Carrasco at Carrasco Creative for helping us create video content for our tour and for the online course of the Money Formula Academy. And I'm also grateful for all of our community partners who helped us create events for the Women's Financial Freedom Tour. Jen Fritchie at Indigo Dragon Center in Encinitas. I want to say thanks to Northwestern Mutual Samantha Torres. I want to say thanks to the City of Vista and the Vista Library, as well as the re-elected mayor, Judy Ritter of Vista. I also want to say thanks to, gosh, I even have a list here, Dr. Alan Bloom for having us in, and Dr. Michelle Dexter, and of course Homestart, which is our community partner in our nonprofit sector. And with them, we're doing 2 workshops in this November and in the new year, and we'd love to get some corporate sponsorship to continue bringing these workshops and these book resources to these women who are looking to gain financial independence and personal independence. Also, a special thanks to Cameron Clark at US Bank. He also sits on the board at Homestart for helping to buy books. That was a really big deal. So thank you so much, Cameron, for attending our tour and for helping women get these resources. We really, really appreciate you. So I want to say thanks to other podcast hosts. We have been on a ton of podcasts this year, and I want to say thank you so much for that. I can't even name them all, so I'm going to put them in the show notes so you can see these men and women who've had us on their show. Just so grateful to be a part of this community, and it's been really fun to share the story of the Money Formula, not just on the State of Happiness podcast, but also on these other podcasts where these people are taking their time to produce and to write and to follow up and to schedule all of these podcasts. I know it is not an easy job, so thank you so much for having me on your shows. I also want to just take a moment to thank all of the attendees who have come to the Women's Financial Freedom Tour stops. These women have shared their personal stories, they have shared their testimonials if you haven't already seen them, and they have also helped by purchasing their copies of the book and just creating a community around women's financial freedom and the Money Formula. So I want to say special thanks to all those women who have joined us on the Women's Financial Freedom Tour so far. And of course, if you'd like to be a part of it, join us at lesleyinc.org/freedom tour. Now, I want to talk about the thing that is the subject of our conversation today. Let's talk about all of the things that we should be grateful for. But before that, I want to talk about the things that make us feel ungrateful. Those things that make us feel that life sucks. And I have to say that I am the first to think, wow, this situation sucks. Why me? And why is this happening? But then it gets me to a point where I'm going, okay, there must be a reason why this thing is happening, because I don't know about you, I like to think that this is the best life possible and that everything that happens is for my best and highest good, even if my ungrateful self doesn't quite see it yet. Let me go down my own list of things that made me feel unhappy and ungrateful, but then later led to me feeling grateful. One thing that has made me feel ungrateful is that sometimes I get blown off. And that means I'll set an appointment with someone and they won't even show up. Or I ask somebody to do something and they don't follow up. I've had people who just completely flake out on projects and maybe even make some promises and not deliver. I've been disappointed a lot this past year. And what I realized about that is that I have a very high standard of excellence. And when I say something, I do it, and I don't make promises I don't intend to keep. And I've seen that there are a lot of people out there who make promises and don't keep their promises. And it sucks, and it's rude, and it pisses you off, and you feel like you can't get anything done because you can't trust people. I've been in those places and I've pouted for days about it. And then at the end of that pouting and doing my own work and self-reflection, I realized that my relationships are really important. And those people, including myself, who deliver and perform on a consistent basis, those are the people that we trust, right? And I realized that if I'm going to be trustworthy and if you as happy campers are going to trust me, I have to be consistent and I have to follow up and live up to the promises that I make you. Yes, we all have down days. We all have those moments where we just don't believe in ourselves. But then there are the people in our lives who count on us. And those people for me are my children, my husband, my clients, my business partners, and we have projects that we're all working on. And I realize that those people who I do things with, who keep up their promises, who fulfill the things that they say they're going to do, those are the people I want to keep doing business with. And those people who don't, they simply just write themselves out of the story, because I'm not going to keep going back to people who keep making promises and then don't deliver. Like I said, I am not that special compared to you. I'm a normal person who does business and I get disappointed just like you do. So I'd love to know if that's something that happens to you. And that makes me go to the next point. I have met and worked with well-known people who are in the public eye, people who are famous in their genre, famous coaches. I've met people who work directly with world famous coaches, and I'm sure you can think of some names, and I'm sure that that is who I've worked with. And I'm going to tell you something. Their employees and their team and even these people themselves, they're human, and they don't know anything more than you do when it comes to your business, your brand, and what makes you happy and what makes you successful. I hired as consultants people who work for some of the biggest names in the world in the coaching industry, and they didn't tell me anything new. I wasn't really surprised, and I felt, wow, you guys are just doing the same things I'm doing, but for somebody with a name brand. And the only difference between me and this world famous coach or business expert is that they have more money to spend on advertising. That's it. So if you're a small business owner or if you're an expert who wants to build credibility or exposure, honestly, you really don't have much difference other than a famous coach or a business person. The only thing I can say that I've learned and that I could pass on to you is keep working with people that you know, like, and trust. That's the best way to get your credibility, your brand out, and your exposure. And keep making those asks. Those people who believe in you and those people who want to work with you and those people who believe that what they have to offer can help you, they will stick around. That's what I learned this past year. And those big names, those famous names, those high and mighty executives of these big global companies, they're nothing different than you and me. They know nothing more than you and me. And I have to say, that was a big dose of reality. These people that you see on TED Talks, they're just like you and me. They just have a very specific story that they've mastered how to tell, and that's the only difference. So yeah, maybe I have a little disenchantment, a little disillusionment, but if anything, I have to say that this has brought me a lot of reality and hope that little old me and little old you and the Happy Camper community, we have a shot at making a name for ourselves and doing something special with and for the world. So if you look at big names in coaching or business, people whose names you read in Entrepreneur, Inc. magazine, Fast Company, they know nothing more than you do. And they have the same level of emotional intelligence as you do. And if you don't know yourself, and if you don't know your business, God help you. You can hire all these experts in the world and they won't be able to help you because you have to understand yourself. And that was the biggest lesson that all of those bad experiences taught me, was that I know best, and so do you. that's something that I want to say is a major gratitude point for me, was that I realized, I know just as much as these people. I know my brand and my business just as much as these people, and they're not really telling me more than I already know that I can't Google and buy a book and research on. So that's a positive aspect, and I hope that you feel a little inspired for whatever project that you're taking on. You feel that you can take it on, because honestly, like, just take it one day, one step at a time. As I mentioned earlier, I took on a lot of projects this year to bring more value to the Happy Camper community. Free stuff, free resources, the Happiness Decks app, the Money Formula book, which instead of taking 18 months to 24 months to publish, it took me only 3 months. The State of Happiness podcast, all of these videos, the online course. I was able to achieve a lot, and now my focus for 2019 is just to get in front of you more, to build more meaningful connections with you, to join your communities, to facilitate conversations in your groups and in your homes and in your businesses. That's really important for me. But also on a personal front, my kids are getting older. They're 4 and they're 6, and if you're a parent, you know that time flies. And that's something I really want to focus on, is my children and my family, and just enjoying them more cooking, more hobbies, more fun times, and just having some personal time for me. One of the ways that I've been doing that is taking piano lessons. I have a piano teacher. He doesn't look more than 20 years old. And I'm starting something new as a beginner. And I remember when I first started coaching, and this was over 10 years ago, I remember hearing myself say, in 10 years, I'll be an expert. And I feel like, okay, that's pretty much true. I feel really good and confident in my work. And now I'm thinking to myself, what do I want to do for the next 10 years? Besides continue building on everything that I have, I thought, okay, I'll take piano lessons. So I'm starting over. I'm a total beginner, and that's what I'm going to do. And we'll see if I stick to it, see if I get any good. And if I do, I'll play something for you. But that's something I'm doing for myself, is taking a moment to appreciate myself and the life that I've built. And I don't know about you, but so many of us work so hard to provide a really nice life for our families, good education, a home, nice car, good food, all of those things that make us feel safe and happy. But then we don't take a time to stop and smell the roses. And I have to say, more than ever, even though I'm highly conscious of taking a moment to reflect on everything I've achieved and what I have, I really feel like it's important for me to appreciate my life and enjoy it. Take the time to cook, take the time to sleep in, relax, play with all my animals and my kids and my husband, and really enjoy the good life that I've worked so hard to achieve. And that's something that once you've reached a level, it really becomes a point of focus. So I'm going to wrap up this episode of The State of Happiness. I want to say thanks for joining me. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I want to know, what are you grateful for? And what were those moments in your life where you felt, I'm not so grateful. I'm not really happy with this situation. Because those moments help us to realize our truth. I want to say a very special thanks to you for joining me, because I have a new puppy. Her name is Penny. Hi, Penny. Mama's baby. This is my multi-poo Penny. It's so funny because I wrote the money formula and then I named her Penny, and then I realized after the fact that I named her Penny. And she is my new little multi-poo puppy, and one of our pets here at the Juvin-Acker household, and someone that I hope to take more pictures of. And I have to say, I'm so grateful. And dogs really make us savor life. They tell us to stop and smell the roses, to go for long walks, and to enjoy a cuddle and a kiss. And, just enjoy your life. It goes by so fast, so enjoy it. when you're sitting around the table with your friends and your family for this Thanksgiving, just focus on all the good things that life has to offer. Don't worry about those relationships that fall apart, those people who don't care about you, those things that didn't work out. Just enjoy those people around you who are with you because they love you. Happy Thanksgiving.